What if I told you that in one country on Earth, women in their 70s, 80s, even 90s are still cooking their own meals, walking miles every day, and visiting doctors less than most 45-year-olds in America? This isn't a fairy tale. This is Japan. And for decades, researchers from Harvard, Oxford, and the World Health Organization have been flying to Japan with one single question. What are these women doing that the rest of the world isn't? What they found didn't just surprise them. It completely changed how scientists think about aging. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what these women do differently, and more importantly, how you can start doing it too, starting tomorrow morning. Let's start with the numbers, because they're almost unbelievable. Japan has the highest percentage of people over 100 years old of any developed nation in the world. Okinawa, a small island in southern Japan, has been studied by longevity researchers for over 40 years and is officially classified as a blue zone, one of only 5 places on Earth where people consistently live past 90 in extraordinary health. But here's what's even more remarkable. Japanese women specifically, not just Japanese people, live an average of 87.9 years. That's the highest female life expectancy on the planet. And it's not just about living longer, it's about living better. Studies show Japanese women over 70 report significantly lower rates of heart disease, dementia, diabetes, arthritis, and depression compared to women the same age in the United States, UK, and Australia. So what's their secret? Researchers found not one answer. They found 7. The first thing researchers noticed wasn't what Japanese women eat, it was how much they eat. There's an ancient Okinawan phrase that guides every single meal, harahachi-bu, which translates to eat until you are 80% full. This practice is over 2,500 years old, and modern science has finally caught up with why it works. When you consistently eat until 80% full, your body produces lower levels of insulin after meals, reduces chronic inflammation throughout the body, and triggers a cellular cleaning process called autophagy, where your body literally removes damaged cells before they become disease. Dr. Walter Longo, one of the world's leading longevity researchers at the University of Southern California, calls this one of the most powerful anti-aging mechanisms the human body has, and Japanese women have been doing it naturally, not as a diet, but as a cultural habit, for centuries. Here's something that surprised Western researchers enormously. Most healthy Japanese women over 70 don't go to gyms. They don't do structured workout programs. They don't own treadmills. Yet they are consistently more physically active than the average 50-year-old American woman. How? Because movement in Japan isn't exercise, it's just life. Japanese cities are designed for walking. Grocery stores are smaller, so women shop more frequently on foot. Traditional Japanese homes require more physical movement, sitting on floor cushions, rising multiple times a day, which naturally strengthens leg muscles and hip joints. Research from the National Institute of Health and Nutrition in Tokyo found that Japanese women over 70 average between 7,000 and 9,000 steps per day, not from intentional exercise, but simply from daily living. Compare that to the average American senior woman, who walks fewer than 3,500 steps daily. Now let's talk about food, because this is where Western researchers were most surprised. The traditional Japanese diet is fundamentally different from what most of us eat, and the difference shows up directly in disease rates. A typical daily diet for a Japanese woman over 70 includes miso soup every single morning, which contains fermented soy that feeds healthy gut bacteria and reduces intestinal inflammation. Oily fish like salmon, mackerel, and sardines at least 4 times a week, providing omega-3 fatty acids that protect brain cells and heart tissue. Seaweed several times a week, one of the most nutrient-dense foods on Earth, rich in iodine, magnesium, and compounds that support thyroid function. Green tea consumed 3 to 5 times daily, which contains EGCG, a powerful antioxidant shown in studies to reduce the risk of certain cancers, lower blood pressure, and improve memory. What's almost completely absent from the traditional Japanese diet? Processed sugar, refined flour, ultra-processed packaged foods. A landmark 2020 study published in the British Medical Journal tracked over 80,000 Japanese adults for 18 years and found those who closely followed the traditional Japanese diet had a 15% lower risk of dying from any cause compared to those who didn't. This one surprised researchers the most because it had nothing to do with diet or exercise. In Japan, there is a concept called ikigai, loosely translated as your reason for being or the reason you get out of bed in the morning. Every person, young or old, is expected to have an ikigai, a purpose, a role, a contribution. For many Japanese women over 70, ikigai comes from tending a garden, teaching grandchildren traditional crafts, volunteering in the community, or maintaining cultural traditions. Here's why this matters medically. Research from Tohoku University following over 43,000 Japanese adults found that people with a strong sense of ikigai were significantly less likely to die from cardiovascular disease and were dramatically less likely to develop dementia. Dr. Ken Mogi, a neuroscientist and author who has studied ikigai extensively, explains that having daily purpose reduces cortisol, the stress hormone most responsible for aging, inflammation, and immune suppression. In simple terms, people with purpose have stronger immune systems. Loneliness is now classified by the American Medical Association as a health crisis, as dangerous as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Japanese culture has quietly been solving this problem for centuries. In Okinawa, there is a social structure called Noway, a group of lifelong friends who meet regularly, support each other financially in hard times, celebrate together, grieve together, and keep each other accountable for health habits. Most Okinawan women have been part of the same Noway since childhood. Researchers from Harvard's study of adult development, the longest-running study on happiness and health in history, spanning over 80 years, concluded that the single strongest predictor of healthy aging wasn't diet, exercise, or genetics. It was the quality of your relationships. Japanese women are embedded in communities that check on them, need them, celebrate them, and that social engagement keeps their immune systems and brain function dramatically stronger than isolated seniors in other countries. Japan has a fascinating relationship with sleep, and not in the way you might expect. Interestingly, Japan actually has one of the lower average sleep durations among developed nations. But Japanese women specifically, particularly older women, practice something researchers call sleep hygiene rituals that dramatically improve sleep quality over quantity. A typical evening for a traditional Japanese woman over 70 includes a warm bath called ofuro, a deep soaking bath taken 1 to 2 hours before bed, which raises core body temperature and then allows it to drop, a biological trigger that signals the brain to release melatonin naturally. Evening green tea, specifically hojicha, a roasted low-caffeine variety, consumed as a calming ritual. A bedroom that is cool, dark, and completely quiet, with minimal technology. Research from Keio University in Tokyo found that Japanese women who maintained these evening rituals had measurably deeper slow-wave sleep, that stage of sleep where the brain flushes toxic proteins linked to Alzheimer's disease. The final secret ties everything together, and it's perhaps the simplest of all. Japanese women naturally live in alignment with their circadian rhythm, their body's internal 24-hour biological clock. They wake early, typically between 5:30 and 6:30 a.m., exposing themselves to morning sunlight within the first hour of waking, which sets their circadian clock, boosts serotonin production, and regulates hormones for the entire day. They eat their largest meal at lunch, not dinner, because the body's metabolic enzymes are most active in the middle of the day, meaning food is processed more efficiently and stored as energy rather than fat. They wind down naturally with the sunset, reducing activity, lowering stimulation, and preparing the body for restorative sleep. Dr. Sachin Panda, a circadian biology researcher at the SACOC Institute and one of the world's leading experts on biological clocks, says that living in sync with your circadian rhythm may be the most underrated factor in long-term health, affecting everything from immune function to cancer risk to cognitive decline. Japanese women don't do this because they read a health book. They do it because their culture has preserved these rhythms for generations. So let's bring it all together. 7 reasons why Japanese women almost never get sick after 70. And what surprised researchers most is that none of these are expensive. None require medication, and all of them can be started today. Number 1. Eat until 80% full. Number 2. Move naturally throughout your day. Number 3. Build your diet around anti-inflammatory whole foods. Number 4. Find your ikigai, your daily purpose. Number 5. Invest deeply in your social relationships. Number 6. Create an intentional evening sleep ritual. Number 7. Live in alignment with your body's natural daily rhythm. These aren't trends, these aren't fads. These are habits that have been quietly producing the healthiest elderly women on the planet for centuries. Now, I want to hear from you. Out of these 7 habits, which one do you think will be hardest for you to adopt? leave it in the comments below. I read every single one, and I'll personally reply. And if you know someone over 60 who needs to hear this, a mother, a grandmother, a friend, please share this video with them today. It takes 2 seconds, and it could genuinely change their health. If this video gave you value, hitting the like button tells YouTube to show this to more seniors who need this information. It costs you nothing, and it helps enormously. And if you want to learn more about natural habits that protect your health after 60, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell, because we release new research-backed videos every week. Before you go, I want to leave you with one final thought. Most people in the Western world have been told that getting sick as you age is inevitable. That pain, fatigue, cognitive decline, and dependency are simply what aging looks like. Japan, and specifically the women of Okinawa, prove that this belief is simply not true. Aging is inevitable. Suffering is not. The women we talked about today didn't win a genetic lottery. They didn't have access to expensive medicine or cutting-edge technology. They simply lived consistently, intentionally, and in harmony with what their bodies were designed to do. And the extraordinary thing is, so can you. It starts with one habit. Tomorrow morning, I'll see you in the next video.